Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Constitutionally Speaking. So, today I wanted to go ahead and address something. I just saw this picture in the back of me, actually, and it's a picture of a disjointed elephant. You probably see that, right? I guess disjointed isn't the word for it, but it's a mutilated elephant. And so, what it says is each piece has a title to that piece. And one of the titles of the head, let's start with that. It says pro Trumpers. You know, the trunk is libertarians. The leg is neoconservatives. The body is Freedom Caucus. The tail is Never Trumpers. And then the back two legs are moderates and conservatives, respectively. And so I wanted to address that. And it says join or die. You see that? It says join or die at the bottom of the picture. And so I agree to a point with this picture. We definitely don't want it to join back the way it was. No way, no way. It divided for a reason. Absolutely. And so when we join together, we need to join underneath the Constitution. If we're going to come together, right, we got to come together over this. We have to agree that America is not a democracy. America is a constitutional republic. Now, before disagreeing, please do a history check. Okay, this was never supposed to be about Republicans versus Democrats. America is one of the only countries on earth who believes in limited government. As a matter of fact, Alexis de Tocqueville actually relayed this message in his book, and he was wondering, man, what makes America so great? It isn't just the great people in it. It's not just the leadership. It's not just the engineers that we churn out, right? It's not that. What makes America distinguished from every other nation is we believe in limited government. And our representatives, our legislators, have a duty to limit government as much as possible. As a matter of fact, one of the top priorities of the state legislatures, one of the top priorities of any legislator, is to limit government. If you were to just follow the Constitution, right, just follow it, you would eliminate 80% of the problems that we have. You see, there's no sense in getting rid of or changing something that you don't live by anyway, right? That seems to be what they want to do with the Convention of States. You know, I know that it is called for the Convention of States. It is allowed by the Constitution. Ask yourself this question, though, and I'm just going to submit this for your consideration. Is this the generation you want? Changing or amending the Constitution? Is this the atmosphere? Is this the environment you want to change? One of the oldest constitutions in the world. Do you want to change it in this generation? Ask yourself the question, really. You know, and I'm going to leave that to you to answer. We can't deny reality. We really can't. And so, look, with that, let's get into our meeting. So, welcome everyone to the meeting. We want to absolutely introduce to you a couple of topics today. And you guys know what happened earlier on in last month, right? The House Speaker fight took 15 times for Mr. Kevin McCarthy to get in the Speaker's spot, which means what? There were some people that did not want him there, okay? And they voted on that 15 times. All right, you're not wanted in that position. How many ways can we say we do not want you? All right, and so that's basically what happened. So let's go ahead and get into the Kevin McCarthy situation. You know, there is There are scorecards that you can grade your congressman with. Absolutely. You can grade your senator with. You can grade your state legislators with. Okay. There is a scorecard that you can use, and you can say, well, are they voting constitutionally? Not Republican or Democrat. I'm talking about, are they voting constitutionally? Because I know you guys love America, regardless of if you're a classic libertarian, if you're a libertarian, if you're Republican, Democrat, or even independent. Okay. Even if you're a rhino, never Trumper, always Trumper, whatever. Okay. Whatever you call yourself, I know you love America and you love the Constitution. And so, what each senator should be graded on is not what party they belong to, but how do they adhere to the Constitution. So we do want to let you know we do have some scores here from the Freedom Index. Lifetime score of both of these Republicans, the one on the man, okay, Kevin McCarthy, is 60%, and Liz Cheney is 60% as well. Now, for Republicans, we usually say that they, because they're 60 or below, those that do get 60 or below, we know that they have more of a tyrannical lean, meaning they give into the ideals of a globalist type mindset. They don't mind giving up the sovereignty of America. They don't mind honoring the Constitution 60% of the time. And you say, well, CJ, 60%, that's still a D minus, right? And so I don't see the big deal in that. Well, would you? Well, how about if your spouse was faithful to you 60% of the time? Is that acceptable with you? Okay, and so yet these people who uphold the Constitution, right? They're only upholding it, which they swore an oath to uphold. They're only upholding it 60% of the time. And so, CJ, isn't that good enough? Is it? I love reality, right? I love reality because reality will answer you. Okay, has it been good enough? How about the last 2 years? Do you like the way the last 3 years have been going? Okay, perhaps the last 3 years, perhaps if you don't like it, perhaps it's because you thought that these people were leaders instead of your representatives. Come on now. Instead of them being your representatives, they became your leaders. And you said, well, what are you going to do, Liz Cheney, about this? And what are you going to do, Kevin McCarthy, about that? When it should have been, what are you going to do? And John F. Kennedy actually brought this out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you. Come on. But ask what you can do for your country. Why did he say that? Part of the reason why he said that is because he knows these three words, first part of the Constitution. Do you know what they are? We the people. Those are the leaders. We are the kings. Okay? Those are the leaders. Those are the kings. Those are the sovereigns. Okay? In the United States of America. And so the education that we're bringing out here, and constitutionally speaking, just will reflect that. And so that hey, you know what? I got to stop treating these people as leaders and start treating them as representatives, people who can be voted out. Does that make sense? They can be voted right out. And so, no, let's make sure that we're making the right decisions. And on the part of a convention of states, why don't you follow the Constitution instead of trying to change it? Instead of a convention of states, why don't you have a convention of reality and just start following the Constitution? Let's do a Constitution following convention. How about that? Convention of Constitution following. And find ways that you can actually rescind bills, that aren't in line with the Constitution. If you're going to get together on something, get together on following the Constitution. That makes sense, right? Of course it does. So we just wanted to impart to you this as well, and that is when you're building your chapter, right? We want you to make sure that you are determined. Okay, determined to what? So by determination, right? I want to submit to you for your consideration these two avenues of determination. First is the determination to remain active in constitutionally speaking, remain active, an active chapter leader, an active chapter member. All right. The second one I want to implore to you is to spread this good news. Okay. Absolutely. In actionable language and not being ambiguous. We actually outline that in our software or in our booklets. Okay, so we definitely want you to click the link to get further information on how we are waking America up, waking the world up, letting people know that what makes this country so great is that it's a constitutional republic. You see, the enemy does not want us banded together. No way, because when we band together, we can find out who the real enemy is and get rid of them, right? And so let me just submit this to you. Isaiah 5:20 says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." My goodness, three elements there, isn't that something? You know, there was a campaign of erosion, all right, that took place in Rome that kind of came to a head in Julius Caesar. The other actors were Sallust and Catiline. And so, along with loss of personal responsibility, came extended government. Along with moral degradation, right, came extended or far overreaching government. And so,